Hello, Internet. Hello, Facebook. Hello, anywhere else this video may appear. My name is Samuel Huber from SamuelHuber.net. Samuel Huber from Facebook. Huber Family Adventures on Instagram. Samuel Huber on Facebook. And that's me. I'm here to talk to you guys today about autistic body language and how it can be different than the neurotypical forms of body language for any of people that are familiar with that. What is body language? For those of you who don't know, body language is how we communicate with each other without using our words. It's how we It's how we let each other know what we're feeling, what we're thinking, but most importantly, how we express our emotions to each other. Do we want to talk? Do we not want to talk? Are we angry? Are we sad? Are we happy? A lot of this is very, very subtle, but for autistic people, this can be the complete opposite, very extreme. This can go anywhere from our meltdowns to stimming to you name it. There's a much more extreme and much more expressive variety in our body language, and it's our own. And I think that's something that, at least as far as I know, has not really been recognized in the autism community or by the experts. What the hell am I talking about here? I'm talking about learning to understand autistic people. As if any of you have watched my previous videos, I like to refer to autism as a neural language, that we have an ability to communicate in our own way, where some people communicate in English, some people communicate in Spanish, Arabic, whatever language you may speak. And often in our schools, we are taught how to communicate, how quote unquote normal people communicate, and how normal people communicate through body language. But there isn't, as far as I know, any discussion about helping neurotypical people or other kinds of people learn how we talk, how we express ourselves. And so I thought it would help you a little bit today, and also help my fellow Aspies out there learn how they communicate too a bit. Through my 8 years of being a TA and then moving on to my own business and as mental health worker at the Center of Autism, through all my experience and all the people I've met on the spectrum, the thing I've noticed is we use our hands a lot. No matter what we're saying, our hands are always moving. It's almost like a very fluid motion if you really watch it. And I've come to really notice that where our hands are on our body can tell you very much of how we're feeling. That the higher you go with our hands, the more excited or stressed or anxious we are. But the lower we are, the more calm, collected we are. And then when our hands are somewhere in the middle, that's where we're in complete control, where we hit that epicenter of we are in control of what we're saying and expressing. And even as I'm talking to you now, you can see my hand on the right hand of the screen kind of fluttering about as I'm processing what I'm trying to tell you today. And that is, I'm trying to communicate to you that we have our own language. And there are things to watch for if you're working in the field of autism or you're autistic yourself. If you want to know how you feel, look at your hands, not your mouth, not your eyes, not what the person's saying. What are their hands doing? Because that can tell you a whole lot. The faster it is, the bigger the emotion is. If it's a lot of flapping about, that means it's a big emotion. If it's subtle, it's a much more subtle emotion. And each person on the spectrum has their own hand flutter or vocal stim. Vocal stim can be another form of body language. It can be our tone. It can be complete nonsense to other people, even other Aspies, but it is a form of processing. It is a form of regulating ourself. And that's a form of nonverbal, I think. This can be physical stim, even the self-harm, or it is a way for us to process. It's our body language. And it can tell you a whole lot about the individual on the spectrum, I think. That if they're hitting their heads, it means something's going on in their heads that they need to process and that they need help with. And these are things to look for. There are no behaviors in autism that are just random and have no purpose, even though it might seem like that. If you really watch their body language, what happened before and after an episode, you can really start to see this pattern of traits, either with their hands, their head, their whole body. that there is a pattern to it, and that people on the spectrum are obsessed with patterns. And that's what I think our language is based on, forming patterns, and often it's a repetitive pattern. So for me, I've noticed that I pick at my face a lot when I'm really anxious. I play with my hair, pick at my scalp when I'm really feeling a lot of emotions. But I've come to notice that my hands at my waist side are completely calm. So when you're working with your children, or if you're an Aspie yourself, look in the mirror as you're talking, or have yourself recorded. See where your hands are. See and ask yourself, what was I feeling when my hands were at my chest? What was I feeling when my hands were at my face? What were I feeling when my hands were at my waist? And you'll start to figure out, these are my feelings. That my feelings are in my hands. My feelings are in my feet that I'm stomping. My feelings are in my head that I'm banging. Whatever your stem may be, or it may be in your vocal stem, it tells you a whole lot about what you're actually feeling. And once you start noticing this nonverbal form of autistic communication, it may lead to ways to prevent full-on meltdowns, because you can just reach into your sensory bag, like I talked about in a previous video, and you are able to stop it in its tracks and soothe yourself. And that's the huge thing, is learn how you talk if you're on the spectrum. Not just with your words, but with your body. Because like I said before, when an autistic person talks, we don't talk just with our mouth, we talk with our whole body. And once we accept that and observe it and think about it, we learn more and more about how we express ourselves and how to better express ourselves in a way that makes sense to us. And that's really the key to autism and becoming a thriving adult on the spectrum, is learning about yourself. Learn how you communicate. That's the place to start, my friends. It's not trying to be like mom and dad. It's not trying to be like your friends who have the job that you want. It's about learning how you express yourself, and then you follow the breadcrumbs from there. So I want you guys to spend today thinking about, how's my body regulate my emotions? Is it through your hands? Is it through your feet? Is it through your voice? How does that happen, and why? And I think you can go very far with understanding yourself and regulating yourself. So I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. I hope this video was some help. Please subscribe below. If you have any questions, please, free to comment, because this is an ongoing observation for me. This autistic, nonverbal form of communication, because I think there's really something to it. And I'll be making more videos about the way we use our bodies to communicate as I come up with my own theories about it. I hope you guys are doing well. All right, this is Sam Heber signing off. Talk to you guys later. Bye.